The third anniversary for Genshin is upon us, and I thought this would be a great time to review every single one of my units. I've built and tested the majority of the characters in the game, and I wanted to go through for you my very subjective opinion, whereas if I were to start my account again, who would I actually build and who would I skip? Welcome to Jello Impact, where we build and test every single character to help you decide who you want to wish for and build. Now keep in mind, this is very specifically not a recommendation on how you should build. This is just my one man's very subjective account. I've played it for just under 2 years, and it's been my goal to build and test every single character at the free-to-play level. I call my account simulated free-to-play because I spend just enough money that it takes to get every single character, the occasional 5-star weapon here and there, but I don't go for 5-star constellations, and I just test at a free-to-play level. So let's get started. Obviously, Fremine, I haven't built him yet, and the characters that I haven't built yet, it's because if this was my account, it's the ones that I haven't got to yet. So we're gonna go through. We're just going to quickly put the ones that I haven't got to yet into the skip column. This is not to say that, again, you shouldn't build these characters. I strongly believe in building around your favorites. You choose your favorite characters and then you build out your account based on the characters that support your favorites. So you can build amazing teams using your favorite characters. Every single character in the game is worth building if they're your favorites. And so you shouldn't let this, you shouldn't let this tell you who you should or shouldn't build. I'm going to give my reasoning for why I would build each character again. So it might inspire you to build a character you might have thought of again. So you might not have thought of, or something like that. So but yeah, Fremine, I wouldn't build him just because physical DPS, maybe he's not my favorite playstyle. Claymores aren't my favorite. I just wouldn't build him. Ning Wang, similar thing. Actually, I would build Ning Wang. Now that I have Zhongli, I would build Ning Wang, and even though I haven't built her yet, I'm gonna put her in my build again because I just think that she's so pretty with this skin and she looks amazing, and I think Ning Wang double hydro is gonna slap. So I would build Ning Wang again, even though I haven't built her yet. Yeah. For Kale, she's gonna go into the skip just because there's so many good Dendro characters and I just can never find a place to actually use her. It's not that she's bad, she's actually quite decent in Aggravate, and she's so cute. I can't wait to actually properly build her and test her, but just because of that, there's so many characters. Lisa, same thing. I really like her. I really like her playstyle. There's just so many good Electro, Aggravate, on-field characters that I just can't quite justify it. Sayu, again, I would skip. So many good Anemo characters, need that grouping. Child, similar thing. My wife does play him, and I do think he's really fun. I do think he's great and very, very strong, but not for me. Jin Yan, another character. There's so many better Pyro characters. Noelle, the Claymore playstyle, just not my very favorite. And Aloy, again, so many cryo characters that do off-field damage. Probably wouldn't. Goro, for now, he's going to be in the skip not build, mostly because there's no on-field character that I really like. Ito's not my favorite character of all time. Same with Albedo. So Goro, like, actually, to be fair, Albedo I do really like. I really do like Albedo in terms of lore and design and things like that, and I would build him if there was the right synergy around him. Like maybe if Navia is a defense scaler and she wants to use Goro and Albedo, then I would. But as it is, the only on-field Geo character is Ito, and I've been not the biggest fan of his design. We're also going to throw Dory down here, Hazo, Mika, and I think that's it for these characters. Oh, maybe Amber, just because, again, so many Pyro characters. Okay, now we're starting to get into the characters that I actually have. Those are all the characters that I currently have not built. Now let's get into the characters that I have built. Novelette. If I got him for free, I would build him, but I don't think I would allocate my resources to him specifically, just because I already have so many Hydro characters. There's so many Hydro characters I like, and I like more than Novelette, but I do think he's very strong if you're gonna go get him, and if you're gonna, I think that he's very much worth it. I don't see him, this tier list hasn't been updated with him yet. That's okay. Xiangling, this is a character I would build again, even though she's not my very favorite of all time. She enables so many characters such as Dea, such as Raiden, that I would definitely have to build her again, because there's just no other option for an off-field Pyro DPS like she is. She's fantastic. I would build her again in a heartbeat. For Kirara, I'm really on the fence with this one. I like Kirara's design. I think post C4 I would build her, but pre C4 I wouldn't. I feel like I just always end up using Baiju. I just use Baiju so much more than Kirara. I do really like her. I like her strong shield. I like her buffing, especially with the Sapwood Blade. especially with instructors. I really do like how much buffing she can give to the team. I'm so torn. I guess I'm gonna leave her in the not build because Baiju is just so comfy for aggravate. It's sad. I really like her. I really like her design though. Kujo Sara, I'm a total Raiden simp, so absolutely would build Kujo Sara again. I don't yet have her C6, so I haven't really tested her all that much because she needs her C6 to be properly good, but I'll definitely be getting her C6 in the next rerun, and she's all leveled up. She's ready to go. She's ready to support Raiden as soon as I get her that C6. For Beto, now Beto is a character that I really think is very strong. I think she's very strong in AoE. I think she's very strong and aggravate with Sucrose as a driver, but I wouldn't build her again. And the reason why is because she currently doesn't have any optimal teams with the characters that I really, really like using. And so I just very rarely find myself using Beto. She has an amazing kit. She's super good. I think that it's possible that there's a world where a future character really, really enables her extra well. Maybe an on-field electro driver like Clorand or something. It almost seemed like Sino would be the character that would work really well with Beto, but it seems like she's not going to enter his overall best team. It's not a fault of her own. It's just that other characters don't seem to perfectly synergize with her in a way that she's like the optimal choice in the teams that I like to play anyways. Kaya is going to be another skip for me, just because I have Shenhe, I have Rosaria. What do I need Kaya for, right? They're very, very similar characters. I think you can choose any of them, Chongyun, Kaya, Rosaria, and they're all going to perform well, but Kaya for me is one that I would not build. You have limited resources in the game. You can only build so many characters. Kaya is one I would skip. Chongyun is one I would skip. Diona is one I would also skip. I think that Layla is basically just better than Diona in every single way, so I wouldn't build Diona. If you already have built Diona, then I get not building Layla, but Layla, I know she gives the 200 EM, but I think Layla's C4 is much more valuable than that. So and I think the stronger shield is more valuable. So I would build Layla. I would not build Diona. Rosaria is a character I would build again. I would even slightly consider not building Ayaka and just cracking out a Rosaria for both for freeze and for reverse melt and getting Shenhe and supporting Rosaria that way. I love Rosaria's design. I love her playstyle. I love her voice lines. I love the sound effects. She just feels so satisfying to play. I would build her again in a heartbeat. Even if she's a little redundant for my account, I would still build her again. I'm really torn about Farazan. I'm really, really torn because I really do like her. I think I would target her down, and as a low spender or free-to-play player, I would eventually target down her C6. It probably would not be very soon into my account, but but late into my account, I would aim for a Farazan. I would aim for a Zhao, and this is a team that I would eventually go for because I do really love her kit. I love her power. I love her functionality. I love Zhao as well. Even though I don't have him yet, these are characters that I would target down again. I know that she's not very free to play friendly, but I kind of like that she's not. It's not that there's something enticing to me about a character that's hard to get, that's hard to work towards, and I would feel very gratified eventually getting my C6 Farazan, working towards that. And yeah, Lynette is interesting. She's a character that if I started a new account now, I would build her, but if I was starting like from the beginning of the game, then I wouldn't build her. So I'm not really sure. It's like it depends on the state of my account at the time. Assuming that I was starting to play, I don't know, I'm gonna put her down here for now because I feel like there's just so many good Animo characters that I probably wouldn't build her. But maybe I would. I don't know. We'll pretend I'm a new player starting the game now, and so I'll put her up here. This is not advice to new players, right? It's not smart to go for Farazan C6 as a free-to-play player and to go for Zhao and Farazan. It's not a smart combination. It's just what I would end up doing. Yunjin is a character I would end up building again. I love Yoimiya, and although I do prefer Yoimiya, Yelan Bennett Kazuha, I do really like the Yunjin Zhongli variant for those times where you have really aggressive enemies. So I would build Yunjin again for my Yoimiya team. Diluc, I got his skin, I got his weapon, and I built him up with pretty good artifacts, and I'm just not impressed with his damage in the slightest. I don't really like him at all. I would not build him again. Unfortunately, I really love his design. It's too bad. He's one of the male characters that I was really, really excited to build, and I just feel like, you know, his outfit's so sick. I have his signature weapon, and I'm so happy, but I'm also so like, I don't know. The damage just isn't there. Klee is a character that I'm not disappointed in terms of damage, but I just don't find her playstyle particularly fun or powerful enough. And you know, her design, she's very cute, but she's not my style, so I would not build Klee. Dea, however, this may surprise some people. She shouldn't be using this. She can use Akumaru. But she is a character that I would build again. Assuming I lost my 50-50 tour as standard banner, I like Dea a lot. Even though she's not a particularly good character, I would build her as a defensive support, but also I'd build her as an on-fielder DPS for Mono Pyro and as a Zhangling driver. So I would build Dea again. I just love her animations. I love her character design. She's one of my favorite characters, and I would definitely build her again. I hope that Farina can buff her. I do believe that she will, and I would definitely build Dea again, 100%. No, she's not strong, but she is strong enough. Baiju, but believe it or not, even though he's not my favoritely designed character, I would wish for and build Baiju again. It's just so valuable to have a character like this, both for Nilou teams and for Aggravate teams, and even for Hyperbloom teams as an on-fielder. He's really, really good. He's very underrated, I think. I think he's the best out of the defensive healers. I think he's better than Zhongli. I think he's better than Kokomi. I think Baiju is a really, really, really good character. Chi-Chi is not a character I would build again, unfortunately. She was good for me for the early game, for fighting Ajdaha, for stuff like that. She's a decent early game build just to help you survive, but she's not someone that I would build starting again. Ganyu is my personal most regretted character. It's not that I think she's weak, but I don't like how she plays on mobile or on controller, and I just don't enjoy playing on PC at all. I've seen some sick clears on PC with those cancels and stuff like that, but she's a character that I would not build or wish for again. For Eula, also would not wish for and build Eula again. I just find her quite underwhelming. I pray that we get an off-field physical damage dealer that can also provide utility to Eula, like battery or something like that she can have an off-field damage dealer. I really think it could improve her teams, and I really, really hope that comes, but in her current state, I would not wish for her again, unfortunately. Shenhe, I 100% would wish for again. Whether or not I had Ayaka, if I didn't go for Ayaka, I would go for Rosaria and do Shenhe, Rosaria, Xingqiu, or something like that, or Kokomi, or whoever. I would get Shenhe 100%. If I was getting Ayaka, even more so, but I would get Shenhe regardless. I love her design so much. She's one of my most favorite design characters. She's one of the few characters I wished for her 5-star weapon for, and I love Shenhe. She's really good and one of my favorites. Zhongli, definitely would get Zhongli again, 100%. He's just too useful and valuable for when there's aggressive enemies, when there's Zhao, when you want to use Zhao with a defensive option. Yoimiya, 100% would get Zhongli again. Hu Tao as well. Bennett, I mean, is it any question? No question, I would build Bennett again. He just enables so many of my favorite characters. I don't even have a choice. Thoma, not a character I would build again. I do really like his Burgeon teams, but I like Hyper Bloom and Nilou Bloom more, and I think that he's a great build. I just 36-starred with Thoma on my wife's account. It was her very first 36-star ever. That was a super fun stream I did with my wife. You can check it out if you want. So I think he's a great character. I think he's really, really good, but because I would plan on getting Zhongli, I would not need him for the shield bot, and because I plan on getting Kuki, I would not plan on needing, and Kuki and Nilou, I don't plan on using him for Burgeon, so I would not build him again. Barbara, this is interesting. Because I do like her a lot on my Nilou teams, but now that I have Kokomi, I think I would go for Kokomi and opt to not build Barbara, just because I do like Kokomi's flexibility both for freeze and for Nilou teams. So I think that I would neglect Barbara in favor of building Kokomi instead. Xingqiu, definitely a character that I would build again. I do prefer Yelan, but Xingqiu's defensive utility is absolutely excellent, and using them both together or on either side of the abyss is super, super valuable. No question about it, I would build Xingqiu again. Candace, believe it or not, I would build Candace again. Not that I think Candace is a crazy strong character. I probably overrated her on my last tier list. Either that or underrated Barbara, one or the two. Totally agree. But I would build her again just because she's so cool, and I love her in Nilou teams. And once she gets her C6, she has a bit more flexibility. But even before that, I would build Candace again just for Nilou because I love Candace, right? She's a character that's not, as good as other characters. She's not necessarily a valuable character, but she is a decently strong character. She's strong enough to use, and because I love her design so much, I would absolutely build her again. Yao Yao is a character I would build again just for Candace. Because she's the best enabler for Candace to have a good team with Nilou. So I would build Yao Yao again. I would build Candace again. I do endorse and like this team a lot. Kaveh is probably one of my most regretted builds. Not that I wouldn't build him again for this account because I have to build and test every single character, but he just is so underwhelming compared to so many other characters. I think he has a chance of working with the Archon, but as is right now, he's a character that I just can't quite get behind. Maybe when I get some more constellations, I'll feel better better. I haven't actually tested him since I got any constellations for him. I first tested with C0, so I'll definitely test him again eventually, and hopefully I like him more then. For Razor, I built Razor specifically for his Thundering Fury or his Burgeon teams. I wouldn't do it again just because he takes so many valuable units, being Nahida, Bennett, and Sing Cho, and overall performance is just not really better than a Hyper Bloom team. It is a little bit better in AoE, but I personally just, the circle impact is also annoying, and it's expensive to take a character to 90, and so I just probably wouldn't build Razor again. Fischl, absolutely would build Fischl again in a heartbeat. She is so versatile. She works with so many characters, and so many of my favorite characters, so I love Fischl. Aggravate's my favorite playstyle for her, but yeah. Kuki, I love Kuki. Kuki, I was so happy when she worked with Hyper Bloom, and she is the best for Hyper Bloom. I mean, obviously Raiden is technically better, but if you need a healer on that team, then Kuki is absolutely fantastic, and I would build her again in a heartbeat, no question about it. Sucrose, this might be a very hot take. Sucrose is a character I would not build again, and I know this is crazy, I know this is wild, I know this is sacrilegious, but I would find myself not needing an Animo grouper on both sides, and for my one Animo grouper that I need, if I did need two, I would get Venti, and I would get Venti if I tried again and I got a new account, because Venti works so well for domains and for earlier floors of the Abyss and just the quality of life. And if I do want two groupers, Venti and Kazuha would be my choices, and I know that you can, do some AI manipulation and use her skills and use her burst properly and do some good grouping with Sucrose, but I don't find it fun. I don't find it fun to use her on field. I find her not fun to use, and not like a good, I just don't like it. I know technically she's good and the EM sharing is very good, but she's not a character that I would build again. Hu Tao, this is tough because Hu Tao and Yoimiya are such similar characters, and now that I've built it and tested both, I unequivocally think that Hu Tao is always the better character, but I have a hard time seeing a world where I don't build Yoimiya and I don't build Hu Tao. I love them both so much. Honestly, I would get her again, and I would get Yoimiya again. It's the stupidest thing in the world. There's no reason to get both. They overlap so heavily, but I would. I love them both. I would get Hu Tao at C1 R1 and Hu Tao and Yoimiya at C0 with the rest. I'd use Yoimiya in the overworld like I always do. I use Yoimiya so much. I use Yoimiya so much. I use her every single day in the overworld. There's no way I would give her up. I just find her so smooth and intuitive for the overworld. And Hu Tao, I use her so often in the Abyss, and I find her so much fun to play. So I would definitely get both of these characters again, even though it's completely stupid. There's no reason to do that. For a Dendro main character, for a main character in general, I would not build the main character again. At the time, it was totally worth it because Nahida wasn't out yet. But now, if I had to do it all over again, I would not build these two because I would just rather build just other Dendro characters like Nahida and Baiju instead. And their other forms are really not quite worth building for me. Kokomi, I would build Kokomi. I would wish for and build Kokomi again. She's too good in Ayaka. She's too good in Nilou Bloom. 100% would I get Kokomi again. I don't like her as much as some people. I think she's a little bit overrated, and we've talked about this a little bit. I think she's very flexible and versatile, but I think she's not the optimal choice in anything except for Kokomi and Nilou Bloom, and I like to play optimally. That's just how I like to play, so I'm biased that way, but I still would get her. She's good enough in those two teams that I would 100% get her again. Ayato is honestly one of the characters that I regret getting the most, from the perspective of I wished for him for myself to try out different teams like Freeze and Taser and different teams like that, and I find him jack of all trades, master of none. I just don't like that playstyle too much. I prefer getting characters that max out a certain archetype, and that's what I find the most fun. And Ayato, although he's very flexible, like he's an on-fielder and he's not like my favorite character, right? Like if he's your favorite character, I think he's an amazing pickup because he's so versatile, but because he's not my favorite character, there's other characters that I will just end up picking, and I pretty much never end up picking Ayato anymore. Mona, I can't say because I never got her, and she's a standard banner character and I can't choose. If I got her, would I build her? Honestly, probably not, but I love her so much that I would. I probably would, just because I love her design so much, and I've always wanted Mona. So I would build her if I got her again. For Nilou, 100% I would build her. I would get her. I would get her the key. I might not get the key because now I have the Dockhands assistant at R4. So I might not get the key, but if I redid my account, I 100% would get Nilou again. Tighnari, would I build her? Him, not quite. I don't think so, because I just prefer other characters to Tighnari. But actually, even more than that, I just find him too single target locked. I do think he's really nice with Yaimiko, but I prefer Yaimiko with Fischl and Baiju instead. So I probably wouldn't build Tighnari, but I think he's a great, I think he's a great character. I think he's really fun. I think he's really strong in single target. He's actually quite flexible as well. I've used him even as the Dendro applicator and sub DPS for my Kaching team, which I actually liked. So I think that he's a good pickup and he's a good character, but I probably wouldn't build him again. Nahida, no question, way too good with Nilou, way too good with Hyper Bloom. Just way too good of a character. Alhaitham, I actually wouldn't get him or build him again. Although I do like him, although I do think he's strong, I think he's the ceiling for Hyper Bloom teams. I think his spread teams are great. I'm just fine with double Hydro or single Hydro with Fischl. I would prefer to just skip out and save for someone else. Yeah, that's how I feel about Alhaitham. For Kaching, I would definitely build Kaching again. She's my very first 5-star. I love her playstyle. I would 100% get her again. Absolutely. Aggravate for the win. Yaimiko. Oh, she was using a level 1 weapon in my Abyss run. That explains some things. I would get Yaimiko again, both for Aggravate and for Raiden Yai. I love Raiden Yai. I use it every single Abyss. There's no way I could go without it. Cyno. This is gonna be an unexpected take, but I would get Cyno again. I love Cyno. I love his transformation, his mask. Reminds me of Animorphs. Yeah, if anyone remembers Animorphs, like Power Rangers and stuff turning into that. I love that. I love that so much. Similar to Zhao, I love his burst transformation. I find him really fun. It's unfortunate he doesn't work better in multi-wave content than he does, but regardless, I really like Cyno. Ayaka, I don't think I'd be able to stop myself from getting Ayaka again. She's way too cute. I love the samurai vibe. She's super good. Jean, I might eat my words when it comes to Farina. Farina might be buffing Jean, but for now, I'm gonna put Jean in not building again. I wish I'm wrong. I hope Farina buffs Jean enough that I would build her again, but for now I'm gonna leave her here. Kazuha, I mean, is it even a question? I would absolutely build Kazuha again. Oh, Yanfei, I didn't build her. I wouldn't build her again. But yeah, Kazuha just enables way too many teams. All my favorite teams use Kazuha. Have to use them again. But yeah, I forgot to talk about Yanfei. I wouldn't use her as an on-fielder because I already have Yaimiya and Hu Tao, and I wouldn't use her as a shielder because I already have Zhongli, and then I have Dea for that pyro defensive utility, so probably wouldn't build Yanfei. For Linny, I do like Linny. I like him more than I thought I would, but I would not get him again just because there's so many. I would just rather use Dea on fielder, to be honest. Rather than getting Linny, I'd rather get maybe Dea, her weapon or something, if it ever comes back for that mono pyro. And I think Linny's great. I think he's really, really strong. One of the strongest carries in the game, but he's not my absolute favorite. So for Wanderer, I would not get him again. And to finish off my very favorite characters, Yelan and Raiden, I mean, they're my favorite characters. I would get them again in a heartbeat, and I would build them again. So as you can see, I still would build quite the number of characters, and not all of them are meta picks, right? Even like characters like Candace and Yao Yao. It's not like I only want to play in meta picks, but for me to really pick a non-meta character, they have to be my favorite. And then, so like Yoimiya, I would pick in a heartbeat. Dea, Candace, like I think it's worth building your favorite characters regardless of whether they're meta or not, and then getting those meta characters to support your favorites as best you can, and then not touching the characters that you don't care about and that don't support yours. Let me know your favorite characters. Who would you build again? Who would you keep on your account? Who would you drop from your account? I thought this would be a really fun Genshin 3rd anniversary celebration, just to go through and take a nostalgia trip and look back through all my characters, who I regret, who I don't regret getting. I just launched a brand new channel, The Jello Show, where we'll be covering anime games overall, whether that be gacha anime games or non-gacha like Pokemon and Fire Emblem and Persona. I'm going to be covering them, any kind of anime games on this channel. If you want, right now I have some Star Rail stuff, some Wuthering Waves, Zenless Zone Zero stuff right now, and we're going to be adding more as we go. So definitely subscribe to this, subscribe to if you're enjoying that, and if you're enjoying this channel, definitely subscribe here. And if you don't want to do any of that, that's totally fine. Just watching the video has been more than enough. Thanks so much. Bye for now.